Welcome to Mindfulness Station, the station that can bring the wisdom to your daily life, and a very warm greeting to my lovely audience from me. Today is Tuesday, the 29th of June, 2021. I'm particularly excited and very honored today because with me are the two special guests who come and join us to share and discuss the power of mindful breathing. To discuss the benefits of mindful breathing, a basic way to practice mindful breathing for beginners, how the power of mindful breathing can change our lives, how we can practice mindful breathing on our busy day, and how the practice of mindful breathing can actually help us navigate the stressful time, and many other subjects today that we are going to talk about. It's an insightful conversation, and I believe this talk will bring the wisdom to your daily life more or less. I appreciate you watching, so please like our Facebook page if you haven't already, and make sure you share our Facebook Live to your friends and followers. And this is me, Dr. Nadnapang Phophichit, my two special guests. My first special guest today is Bhante Tenzin Dorjee. Venerable Tenzin Dorjee is a Tibetan monk from Vajrayana school. He started his Buddhist journey in India and became a novice in 1994. He had a privilege of receiving bhikkhu ordination from His Holiness the Dalai Lama in 2016. Speaking of his Buddhist academic journey, he has a bachelor degree in Buddhist philosophy. While he was studying Buddhist philosophy in the monastery, he also completed 3-year English translation course and engaged in various translation projects for 5 years. He participated in Tibetan Thai Sangha exchange program in 2018, and currently he is doing his MA research at the International Buddhist Study College or IBSC, มหาจุฬาลงกรณราชวิทยาลัย University. So welcome Venerable Tenzin Dorjee. กราบนมัสการค่ะ
Namaskar ka.
And my second special guest for today is Ajahn Dr. Maechi Benjawan Wongshookaew. She is a long time meditation teacher who has been teaching meditation, sharing her knowledge and kindness with practitioners from all over the world who come to practice meditation at Suan Mok International Dhamma Hermitage and also at T. Papawan Meditation Center at Got Samui in Surat Thani province. She is also a meditation master for the Mindfulness Teacher Certification course at our college as well. So welcome อาจารย์ Dr. Maechi Benjawan Wongshookaew สวัสดีค่ะ Maechi.
ค่ะธรรมะสวัสดีค่ะ
Yes, so first of all, I'm so delighted to have both of you here today, and thank you so much for joining today. Today, we are going to take a mindful moment to talk about the power of mindful breathing. The present moment is the ultimate goal of any meditation practice. Breathing is one of the techniques that helps us to stay present. Today, we will dive into why the breath is such a powerful meditation tool, proper mindful breathing instructions, and the many benefits that come from regular practice. People who are listening or watching our mindful station right now might have practiced mindful breathing before. So today, what I want to start with is that we have heard the term mindful breathing, but what it actually is, Bhante Tenzin Dorjee, could you tell us what mindful breathing is and is it different from normal breathing?
Okay, thank you very much for Ajahn Varasak and also Dr. Nadnapang for inviting me here. So it's also my privilege and also honor to be share here my view. Before I speak, I'll little bit chant in Tibetan. So thank you Shotan Sobi Chonam La Chenjo Bado Dana Deus Chedaki Chinso Gibu Sola Gidola Kunje Singe Drobo Shu Pange Tumsen Yusune Tawat Japan which temperature Netunse Kotam Jela Chatelo. So so when we say that what is the here, so we can speak. So in first we say mindful breathing. So this kind of breathing. So even the term mindful breathing, it speaks two terms here, mindful and breathing.
Yes, so it's
Talking
mindful
about
and
the
breathing.
mind, our consciousness,
Right.
object of the mindful. So what we say means, when we say mindful breathing, so we have to focus our mind, our conscious to the breathing. So then even the mindful term is come from the Bali term sati, or when we say Sanskrit is simristi. So in Tibetan we translate as a temba. So that means we have to focus our mind on the breathing. So this is it shows the object and also the mind itself. So then why we have to focus on the breathing, and then our mind, why we have to focus on the breathing. So our mind, normally we used to say that it's like a monkey mind, which is very skeptical, which is always wondering, and they're jumping everywhere, so like a past and future or whatever you face difficulty. So then we need something to, it's like we have a monkey, so then we have give something to the monkey and let him play there. So it's like just stay there, not going somewhere else. Same thing, we give our mind things to play or something like that. So we use here breathing as things. Then our mind focus on the breathing in and out. Then at that moment, our mind and our body together. Normally our body is here, but our mind is always somewhere else. So because of that, so many thinking arise in our mind, so many different kind of thought arise in our mind. So because of those thought and thinking keeps us bothering and make us suffering. So instead of thinking all those things, so we have to focus breathing. Then that moment, our mind in the present moment, as you mentioned, the present moment, and then we can focus breathing in and out. Then at that moment, our mind is in his home or its home, like in our.
Oh, I think your connection is a little bit.
How to say, like a simple way of explaining the breathing.
Yes.
Through this mindfulness of breathing, then we can realize so many things. Through this way we can realize ourselves. So maybe we can say this is the simple way of explaining the mindful breathing.
Right. So you say that our mind is like a monkey, right? So we're trying to find the object
Yes.
we're trying to focus on. So that's why
Yes.
we focus on the breathing and become the mindful breathing, like having
Yes,
sati.
mindful breathing.
Mindful.
Yeah, having sati. So we use breathing as an object, and then let our sati play on the breathing and not something else. So that moment, our mind in the present moment, so it's not going somewhere else. So that moment, in that moment, we can get the peaceful. So even we face some difficulties, if you take a very deep breath and release, automatically you feel very relaxed. So because normally in the scientific also same, in the Buddhist point of view also same, because our mind and our consciousness is not our breathing and consciousness are totally related. When you talk deeper level of the Vajrayana tantric, so then they're talking about the wind and the mind together. So there are many explanations deeper level. So if you say the simple way, so mind, breathing as an object and mind as the observer. So it's observed there, not somewhere else. Then we can keep our mind in the present moment.
So the observer is the mind, and the breath is the object to be observed.
Yeah, an
Right.
object. Yeah, object to object.
Yes. So
And
what
slowly
about
it can be like.
Right. Thank you.
Okay, Maechi.
And what about Maechi Benjawan? So what is mindfulness breathing? Can you please help
Okay.
explain?
The theme that we are talking tonight is mindful breathing, or sati in Pali. So then I think the theme, it should be attend to a particular in the purpose of meditation. Of course, we know that sati, it means like remembering, attentiveness, not forgetting. This for a normal definition. But according to the meditation, because we talk about in the theme of meditation, sati, so it should be definitely in undivided attentiveness, or the state of recollection or remembering. And sati in meditation actually is the basis on which wisdom or mind development can be developed, because the purpose of meditation is mind development or mind cultivation. And so when Bhante talk about the present moment, okay, then so sati it means that we attend or we just focus, we watch in the present moment, here and now. Then when we used to combine with the meditation practice, to keep the mind properly grounded in the present moment. And for breathing, so the first word is mindfulness, and the second word it come together like mindful breathing.
Yes,
So the
mindful.
breathing, yes, and mindful breathing is actually come from the authentic or original the sutta that the Lord Buddha said. It's called Anapanasati. It's a verse of mindfulness of breathing. So then this original from this sutta, mindfulness of breathing, it means we use our breathing as a meditation object. Because as we know that I told you already that meditation is the way that we cultivate the mind. We build up, we accumulate the good qualities for the mind, to develop the mind. And how? How by we focus attention at the mind. Focus at the mind. So then we should have the object to work with, meditation object to focus with, to
Right,
keep the mind still, right? If
right.
you
That's
need a healthy body, you have to do exercise or from moving. But if you need a healthy mind, you have to make the mind still. And the way to make the mind still is mean you have to focus attention directly to the mind. Try to
right,
maintain the mind state in the stillness or in the balance.
right,
And breathing is one technique or one meditation object among the 40 techniques. In the Buddhist aspect, there are 40 meditation techniques, and breathing or anapanasati is one technique. And so when we talk about breathing, I think nowadays breathing is quite a famous and well-known technique all over the world. Why? Because among a different objects, breathing is quite obvious and simple to take it out. We have this
right.
object since the first day we were born, right? So whenever
Definitely.
we wanted to come down, we wanted to develop the mind, we want to find the peace inside, we just come bring out the object that we have. But we don't pay any attention with the precious resource that we have. And just use breathing as a meditation object to focus with. So then no need to bring or to prepare the external or the some kind of extra aid. So
Right.
then,
So, right.
mhm,
You said that breathing is one of the famous technique and most used technique among the meditator, right? Because we are born with the breath, and we
sure,
seem to like ignore what we already have to be able to use as a tool for meditation, right? And you said the Buddha said is a kind of a kind of
anapanasati,
yes, anapanasati, like mindful breathing. We use
mindfulness
the
of breathing.
this mindfulness of breathing, and this is what you teach, right? What you've been teaching at Sun Mok, right?
Sure. And
So,
everywhere when if I invite, I always speak in this theme, mindfulness of breathing.
right. So this is your expertise then in teaching.
Thank you.
So I would like to move back to Venerable Tenzin. I would like to ask you that what are the basic ways to practice mindful breathing? Like the easy way for beginners you can share. Venerable Tenzin Dorjee.
Oh,
Yes.
can you say again because maybe it's network.
Oh, okay. So I was asking that can you please share the basic way to practice mindful breathing? Is it the same as
Basically,
the practice in Theravada or it is different from Vajrayana school. So we would like to know that.
Yes, actually, when you say the basic for the beginner, so there are many techniques. So, for example, according to the Anapanasati Sutta or Satipatthana Sutta, they also mention breathing in and out. So we have to focus our breath in the nose.
Yes.
Beginners.
So
Also, this is very famous. Another one mentioned from the Myanmar. Even in MCU, we are practicing the rising and falling. So, but also for the beginner, sometimes it's very difficult to focus breathing in and out here because as a beginner, so our mind is very skeptical. As I mentioned before, it's like a monkey mind. It's going everywhere. So to control, we can't say control, but we can tame our mind. To tame our mind or to keep our mind in the breathing as an object. So sometimes if we count, breathe 1, 2, okay, like when you're breathing in, you just count 1, or in and out together, you say count 1 and then 2. It also
like inhaling we count 1, exhaling we count 2.
We are controlled by our 5 senses, like sensory.
Right.
Then when we come to the meditation, so then at that moment we are closing our sensory something. We are using more on our inner mind. When we say mind, it's like a more inner. So when you try to use our mind to meditation, so then our sensory, the minds or consciousness are almost closing. So it's not really closing, but even we can hear something, but we try to concentrate. So when we say meditation, at that moment we're trying to concentrate, and we try to, based on the concentration, we try to analyze. But so
yes,
our mind is very active because our mind is very active. Normally if we count like a breathing in and out together, 1, 2, 3, so like a 5, or if you want to count like a longer, if you can keep longer, then you can 10 or 20, then you can count back, 20, 19. So through this way, if you train our mind, this is also one technique. So
right.
sometimes even we say,
yes, please. You said that for the beginners, they can begin by counting the breathing, right? Like inhale, count 1, exhale, count 2, like this, right?
yeah, yeah, counting also, it's also very useful for me also. And when I was in monastery, sometimes, I also practice counting because, before sleep when we do a meditation, so sometimes if we count like a 1 and 2, so it's easy for us, for me to, keep our mind on breathing, just focusing here. Sometimes it's like also very subtle, it's like very subtle. So it's, just sweep our mind somewhere else. Then if we count, so then we have to think something, like we have to use some force. But actually in the meditation, we should be the calm. But still, if we use a little bit more force, then we can keep our mind there. So counting is also a good thing for the beginners.
Right. Then for how long they have to count for? Like until how many numbers for the beginners, you think?
Actually, it's a depend, mostly they say like a 5, or you can count like, okay, same thing, breathing in and out. So actually normally we can't stay very long, right? So when you practice breathing in and out, also let's say for the beginner, they can't stay like when breathing in, maybe it's like 4, 5, 6 seconds, breathing out maybe 10 seconds, something together, maybe, okay, let's say maximum 20 seconds, but our mind cannot. The practitioner, or when we teach the meditation, we say, okay, let's say short but continuously. Okay, let's say 5 minutes you count, or at the beginning, let's say you count 1 minute or 2 minutes, and okay, use your 2 minutes counting, breathing in and out, counting, and practice 2 minutes. Then just wake up, and then again just start again. So if we stay at the beginner, if they stay very long, like a half an hour, 20 minutes something, or 1 hour something, they are boring. And also, because they're beginners, so it's difficult for them to focus. So we used to say in the Vajrayana practitioner, or when Vajrayana teacher, they teach us the meditation, they say short but long. They keep going continuously. But okay, let's say 5 minutes, then little bit rest, then again 5 minutes rest, 5 minutes. When you keep resting, you should be think the positive side of meditation or benefit of meditation, not just wandering your thought. Rest means not just like a rest. When you're resting, okay, let's say if you rest 1 minute, this moment you have to think the benefit of meditation. What is the benefit? So then when you think the benefit of meditation, or it's how it's important. All those, if you keep those thinking, then it will motivate you. It's like it will boost your inner. It's the boosting energy. So then second round, it will give you more energy, to practice continuously.
Right. This is very interesting techniques for beginner. You said that.
How
Okay.
it's important for us, then it will
Right.
boost you.
Right. It's like practicing for 5 minutes and then rest. And while resting, let the practitioner think about the benefits of meditation and then start meditate again for 5 minutes and rest and again 5 minutes like this, right?
And
Short
all
but
those
long.
things, the good side of, positive side of the meditation.
Right.
Yes, like that,
Right.
continuously.
Right. And what about Maechi Benjawan? How do you normally teach at Sunmo? Could you please share with us?
According to the recommendation from the Lord Buddha in original sutta, actually in meditation there's a formal systematic practice. So then we have step by step, and altogether we have 16 steps. 16 steps, so then can define to group. So I want just touch in this. I just start from the beginner. The first 4 step is contemplating the body. Contemplate the body is mean we observe. We observe the sensation. We observe what's going on in the body by using our breath, breathing. And so then, step 1, step 2, the Lord Buddha recommend to observe, to just experience the short and the long breath. So then, in the beginners, the practitioners to be taught to to warm up. The preliminary state is just to check the air tract, the respiratory tract. Because the early state or beginning state is following the breath. Why
Right.
start with the following the breath? Because the breath is a moving object. So then we cannot fix on the moving object. So then we just have to stay tuned with the object. Try to find the rhythm that to go together with our own breath, with our expectation, with our force, or with our control. We just let our breath to go in and out naturally. And so then follow the breath. Follow the breath is some kind of technical term. Follow the breath. Actually, we follow the sensation. When we're breathing in, we know that we can feel. So then, first of all, the practitioner have to find the 2 point, the 2 spot, the entering or the beginning and the ending. So then normally the starting point here in the nose tip. So when breathing in, the first step said breathing in, we can feel, we can know. So then focus attention is mean we put more awareness, be aware and be mindful. So that's why sati is the key or the basis of the meditation practice to gain concentration.
Right.
And the way that we practice, so then when breathing in, we feel that the air come in, we can send some touching here inside, and we can feel breathing in. So follow is mean we follow the sensation. Actually, we don't follow the air itself. Follow
So
the
what do you
air.
follow?
So the sensation when we breathing in, so we can feel that the chest contract, the belly contract, and then we can feel that there's some contract in the belly. It means that the ending point. This
Right.
one, and then the other is breathing out. So we observe in the same way. We can feel when we're breathing out that some part of body is contract, start from the belly, from the chest, and from the throat, and then we can feel the air come out. So this we observe the one circle of breathing, the flow of breathing, so that we call that be mindful with every single breathing in and breathing out.
Right.
And
So
so actually there's a 2 part. It means open monitoring and focus attention. Open monitoring is mean we don't force ourselves, we don't control. We just allow is going and out on natural process. But we experience, observe but not get involved. But for the beginners, of course, the mind is maybe have a very weak. not strong enough and not have a strong effort just to following the rhythm of the breath. So then we can use some special or extra aid or tool. For example, counting as Bhante said, or if you don't like counting, because some said when counting, so then rather than we focus at the sensation of body movement because it's contemplate body, but we just focus that what number that we counting. So that is quite very rigid and very narrow. So if you don't like counting, some work but some doesn't work. You have to choose with the suitor for your own practice, for your own condition. Then you can imagine something that can make the mind anchor or just keep it. For example, for Buddhists, it's quite easy to think about, imagine about the Buddha image.
The Buddha image,
The whole
right?
Buddha, yes, or some part of Buddha image. And for universal, you can think about like, I always just mention about the wave, the sea wave. Breathing in, the wave come and touch the shore, breathing out. Or the smoke, the cloud, the ribbon, anything that can make our mind just stay tuned with our track, don't wandering away. And
So
of course,
right. So not to let the mind wandering away from the focus, right? So
yes,
we
it's
need some
difficult. Then not only just we have put to be more aware, more mindful, but we have just to be aware of the present moment. When the mind wandering, we know that the mind wandering, or when the monkey come to play with us, we have to know, and then don't pay any attention, don't get involved, let it go. And so the key word from the practicing is let go. Let go is mean just come and go. Don't take it personally. Don't give the label. Don't try to find the don't try to find where and why it's come and something and that. So then just come and go. Like you look at a TV screen, you just look and then you pass by. Don't take it personally. And so if you feel that your mind is far away, gentle bring it back. Start it again. Take a deep breath.
How do
Like
we bring it back? Right, just breathe in deeply again, right?
Yes, the first step among the 16 steps is long breath. And whatever happened during our practice, when our mind is lost in the track or wondering where thoughts or thinking is pop up, and we don't know how to do, come back on the basic, come back on the step one, deep breath, start again. And so then after that, just calibrate the breath. Not too short, not too long. Use the normal long breath and follow it, focus attention with the breath. This we call the following the breath. And after that, if you do it, we have be skillful enough, we do it enough, we do it in the right way. No need to following, because our mindfulness is more strong. And we get some of the concentration. So then we just say tune is a point, in the entering point, and observing. But before you can do it, you have to practice more and more and more. Do jogging. I always say that the mind jogging.
Right, it's like exercising. It's like
yeah, sure.
So now I would like to ask Venerable Tenzin, what if our mind wandering away? In your way of practice for beginners, how can they bring back their attention to the practice of breathing? Like when we have thoughts arising and our mind wandering away, what is the easiest way for the beginners to bring back their attention to the practice of breathing? Venerable Tenzin, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. No, it's me. Because maybe it's the internet. So yeah, that's true. So normally, so in practicing, even in the Tibetan, we have some kind of meditation, special meditation. So we say the Mahamudra Chakchin. So they also mentioned the similar way of practicing like Anapanasati there. So when our mind's wandering, so they in the text they mention very beautiful example. So okay, let me give you that example. So okay, let's say when we are traveling in the big ocean by boat, like, or the ship, big ship. So we have one bird on our ship. So bird try to fly, fly on the ship, and you need to come, sit somewhere, but there's no place to sit in the ocean, big ocean, there's no place, there's no island, so it's a very big ocean, so it cannot go far that much. So automatically, slowly, it will come back on the our own ship. So same like this way, our mind same like this way, because the body is the house of our mind. So our mind should be here. So then our mind try to go somewhere. It's like try to go very far away. So just let it go there. Don't follow our mind. Okay, follow mind means when we thought observe it.
Yes.
Where it's going. Just observe, and then come back to your own mind. Just observe. This is one way of bring back our mind. So just observe. Don't when if you follow your mind, then that thought controlling you, then you're totally lost. Okay, let's say, because you are following mind. So then whatever thought arises, your future or past, then you lost your mind. So if you observe your mind, okay, let's say another example. For example, then when you observe, what will happen? Then that automatically that thought will getting weaker. So it's like this observer and the mind. That thought becomes the object, and the which we sati, observer, or sati or sambhajano. Sati will observe, or in Tibetan we say temba and sheshin. Normally we use the sambhajano or introspection. In Tibet, in translate in English we say introspection, or in Pali to English they say clear comprehension something. So introspection. So it will observe the the mind. So then automatically it will be getting weaker. Same thing, the anger arises in our mind. So if you follow your anger, you're getting more and more angry. So then just observe your anger. When your anger arises in your mind, just observe your anger. Before you observing your anger, your anger will control you. You become a very angry person, then anger will control you, and you cannot do anything. Or whatever negative mind arises in your mind, if you not observe it like a mindful, so then it will control you. When you try to observe your mind, the anger or whatever thought arises in your mind, for let's say example, anger arises in your mind, when you observe, then anger will become the object, and the sati or sambhajana or introspection will become the observer. Then it observes. Then it's like the thief and the police. Then police try to observe the thief, or the victim. So then it becomes the weaker. The police will stronger, right? So then sati become like a police. And then your anger or whatever negative thought or whatever arises in your mind, defilement arises in your mind, it becomes like a thief. Then it will observe slowly, it becomes weaker, and then sati can control it. Like it's put in jail, something like that. So so that moment. So but if you follow your thought, then you just lost there. So try just observe it, then just bring it back. You automatically it will begin back if you observe it, because you know where your thoughts going on. Then at that moment you are mindful.
That means
that's the one way to bring that.
Right, it's the skillful thing that we keep practice to bring the observer more stronger than the thief, right? The anger or any distraction that bring our mind away or wander, right? So this is the technique. The easy technique for the beginner. Follow the mind, follow what is happening or arising, and try to be a good observer only.
So this is also
right. And Maechi, Benjawan, could you please share with us about your mindful breathing practice journey? Like, since when did you start to practice? Like, briefly.
Okay. Anyway, so then when the practitioner learn about how to, so then it means everyone know about how to, the technique. But the problem is not the technique. The problem is about what's going on in the mind. And so then many people think that cannot stop thinking. Because in ordinary, in outside, we always busy with the thought of thinking, right? So then thought of thinking is not problem. We have thought of thinking since we were born, because thought of thinking is some kind of sankhara or some kind of a condition. But the problem is the one who thinks. The one. So then we have just to focus attention, put more mindfulness and awareness, like Bhante said, clear comprehension. Be aware is be alive in the present moment. So once that you think, when you feel that your mind is slipped out from the track or going away, go to the past or the future, so that is not in the present moment, just bring it back, gently bring it back in the present moment. It seems like you you got assigned with a job or a task. So then your job is that you have put concentration in the job in front of you. And so then in meditation, the job that you are doing, you have to fulfill your job is your breath. So then you not allow yourself just to distract from the job, the important job. Then you have to understand the purpose, what you're doing. So then this can inspire you just to put the effort. What just it's not about that to sit and close the eye, follow the breath. So then it's not happen.
Right.
Then you have to know purpose and try just to be aware of the present moment, to know that when the thought or thinking pop up, so it's okay. Rising and falling like a wave. Don't take it personally.
So
The problem is because people want to know the end of the story. Right? When the thought or thinking coming, the chaining of thought, and then they create a story and of course distract from the practice.
Right.
So when once that we realize that, we come back to our job, follow the breath. This we call self-realization.
Self-realization. So when the thought pop up, we are not just trying to force anything, but just to acknowledge and know it.
If you force, so then it's the same way that you throw up the boomerang and then boomerang come to hit your head and make it worse, because we have to force to let go. But if we just realize, okay, the thought of thinking is just thought of thinking. It's a condition of the mind, because that we are working with the mind, and let go and come back to step one, to our job in front. This means following the breath, breathing in, breathing out. And if you cannot control, just to focus on the breath, because the breath is an invisible object that hardly just to focus with. So then create some kind of image or mantra. So in Thai, in Theravada, we have two ways to practice anapanasati.
What are
The other one is a forest tradition. We use a mantra, Putto. Don't do anything, just to recite the mantra, breathing in, put, breathing out, toe, breathing in, put, breathing out, toe, and then observe what's going on in the mind and let go. But in the full course of Anapanasati, Ajahn Puttathasa technique, we follow the full step, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. It might be complicated. But anyway, for the beginner, you can trace, you can try in the forest tradition. Use a mantra Putto.
Using the
in
mantra
Putto.
Right. It's easier than
any mantra that you can create that can make you feel at ease. Any object.
Right. So now, what about your practice journey? Since when did you start before teaching? How long have you been practice the mindful breathing? Maechi, Benjawan.
Okay. Cannot tell how long. It's some kind, and now it's become my habit of breathing. But anyway, many years of struggling. 10 more than 70 years, but it's on and off.
Right.
Sometimes I be a full-time practice. Sometimes I'm a part-time practitioner.
Right. And what about Venerable Tenzin? When did you start? Since when did you start practice the mindful breathing? And have you seen any changes since then? Can you please share your personal experience with us?
Okay, actually, so when you say my personal experience, so when I was in India, actually, when you say in my monastery, so also we practice this kind of thing, not really same like here, because as I mentioned before, when I was in India, I just trying to practice the counting, 1 and 2, the 1, 2, like a breathing in and out 1, and in and out 2. This is also one practice we used to practice in India. Another one is, as I mentioned before, the Maechi, she mentioned, like we're using also mantra, because we always need to chant mantra. So, in a monastery also we have like a retreat. So we have to chant mantra so chanting mantra. So this is also some kind of technique to meditation. So then also we have in monastery, when we learning, so we say debate, but actually debate is also some kind of meditation. We say the analytical meditation, same like vipassana, analytical meditation, or when we say special insight, So because when we meditate that time, not just breathing, so we have to discuss the meaning of Buddha's teaching. So that time we use our own, mind, like a totally mindful or conscious, or be aware on what you are speaking, what you are discussing. We have to focus on the topic. So that topic becomes our object of meditation, So, okay, let's say we say in Pali this is like for all the the things are impermanence or
Right. So
realize
it's
why
like
all the ends. So at that moment, our that object of meditation
right. So it's like we're bringing our attention to our present moment,
have to use our body.
right?
Yes. So that moment, our mind is in the present moment because our mind is on that that object. Same like when breathing in and out. So when we focus our mind in the breathing, so that moment our mind is, as mentioned before, it's in our body. It's the present moment. Same thing. So we have many kind of practice. So it's depend on the individual. For me, if you say the breathing in and out, breathing meditation or mindfulness of breathing, when I was in India, I'm using technique like accounting. So when I came in Thailand, 2018, so I just learned in Wat Jomtong, the rising and falling.
Oh, so you practice many techniques. You've been practicing so many ways of bringing the mindfulness, right?
No, just
Breathing,
trying.
yeah, just trying, right? Vipassana meditation as well. So you practice both. And
Can
have
I
you
add
seen?
up? Can I add up something, please?
Yes, yes,
About
please.
a counting technique. Actually, there's counting technique in Thelawat. That's what said uh, um, in the Putta Kosa. The counting, we have some kind of the technique of counting. But the way the counting, for example, we counting breathing in with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then stop and counting again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus 1 by 1. And 1 to 6, 1 to 7, 1 to 8, 1 to 9, 1 to 10. And so when we're counting 1 to 10, so it's what a long circle that can keep our mind anchored on the track. But if your mind still wandering, you have busy mind, so then count again, but this time count backward. 1 to 10, 1 to 9, 1 to 8, 1 to 7, 1 to 6, 1 to 5. So that is mean more, give more complicated work for the mind to do. And that was recommend in the ancient commentary from Ajahn Buddha Kosa. And the other one that counting the duration of the breathing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2,
Like
3,
one
4, 5,
breath.
6. Yes, one breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's up individual the length. Okay, that's can I add up with the Bhante.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
One more that you can when you practice more and more until you know that how many breaths you can do in 1 minute. It's very useful. So then you can use the breath as a clock, as a watch. And then you can use breathing in one for myself. I have 7 times for 1 minute. So then I can use as a clock or you can count down. Yes, 7 times in 1 minute, breathing in and out, 1 breathing in and out, 2.
Right. From what I'm hearing, that there are so many techniques for beginner now.
Sure, of course.
On what suits each person. Like they have variety to choose, right? And
Yes.
the very important question today that I really want to know is that for Venerable Tenzin, what kind of changes that have brought to you when you practice the mindful breathing? Have you seen any change within your body, physically and mentally? What are the power of let's say the topic for today, the power of mindful breathing? What are the changes that it brings to you into your life?
Oh, yeah. Actually, when you say change in our life, so I can't say much change in my life. So because I'm still practicing, I can't practice that much. So sure, for the real practitioner or the person who is practicing really like in Thailand also we can see many practitioners. In forest, the practitioner, they have lots of changes. In special, also a meditator in Tibetan we say Komjimba. So who stay in the cave or in the mountain cave, they have lots of changes. But in the theoretical, not practical, because I can't share because I don't have that much experience. But when you say theoretical, so they have a lot of changes. For example, just for the breathing meditation, according to the sutra, Anapanasati Sutra. So when you practice the breathing meditation, so we can, practice whole Satipatthana or 4 foundation mindfulness, Kaya, Vaka, Chit, and Dhamma. So, all the 4 we can practice there. And through the breathing meditation, we can realize the ultimate, truth, or we can attain the Nirvana or Arahant. We can become like Arahant. Those things are there. But, for the beginner, if you say the changes, if you practice meditation in the morning 5 minutes or evening 5 minutes, sure, it will change you, become personal, become like a more calm, peaceful, and
Right.
with the mindful meditation, if you practice compassion, then that person will become more compassionate person. So because
Right.
compassion means you're more mindful. You are more mindful on the self and other people's suffering. You should be mindful you're suffering, and you should be mindful and another people suffering. Then through this way, you will be, or you become more compassionate person. You become more calm and peaceful, just for just for normal life. So then whatever you are doing, okay, let's say for the student, if they're practicing mindfulness meditation, then their mind become more aware, be more aware, and then through this way, this study will develop. Because if you're learning something, then if you give your 100% attention, okay, that's like more than 60% or 80% attention or aware on your study, then you can learn much more than before. Normally, if you are not mindful, even your study here, your mind is like a 20% is there. The rest 80% is outside. So for the
Right.
student or for the teacher or for the practitioner, same thing. More you're mindful, more you can learn, or more you can understand, more you can realize. Your study or you yourself. The most important thing is you yourself. At the end, we have to know.
Right.
Things. So far, we think this
Yes.
way. There's a lot of changes there.
Yeah, so it looks like you have experienced yourself that you are more calm. It makes you feel more calm and passionately have more compassion with other people. Is that what you say? Like by practicing the mindful breathing?
Okay, let's say for the doing the meditation time, I become more calm and peaceful. Then after that, I can't say.
Uh, so
That's
everything changed.
doing meditation. Yeah, doing meditation time. You become more. Even if you take a very deep breath just now, if you take a very deep breath in and out, automatically your body will become relaxed. Because the breathe and out blood
Right. So it seems like it
every day. Sure, it
affects.
will make you more calm. Same thing for me. So it's so during that duration, you become. For me, I become more calm and peaceful.
So it affects you physically and mentally. Like once you have breathed deeply, it
Sure,
changes
sure,
your
sure.
body and posture. Right. And what about Maechi Benjawan? What kind of change have the practice of mindful breathing brought to your life? Can you please share your personal experience?
Okay. When I say the power of mindfulness of breathing is the power of here and now. Here and now. So then it means that we have set up our awareness and mindfulness in the present moment. And so then our mind will more sharp. Will more sharp and go in the only a channel, not in a scattering way, go this and that. Because we can just keep our mind stay tuned with the object is the breathing. And
Yes.
so then we have got a wisdom. We know the moment that what thing that should be done and left undone. Because people always think that I should do this, do that. But in many cases, they don't know that it's better just to not to do nothing. Leave it go in its own accord. So sati will help us to know that it should be done in the moment, in the right condition. And also, we have to know anything that we left undone because we cannot do anything. So then keep the energy, come back to the mind state, to make the mind in balance, to come back to the center of the mind by use of breathing. And sati, in another way, the Lord Buddha compare with apamanatham or heedfulness. Apamana,
Right.
not careless. Okay, so then we have a mindful in everything that we done, or we don't do it. So then we not tend to do something in a careless way. It's a kind of sense of responsibility
Right.
for our own action, our own karma, And also we take responsibility for others. We don't hurt or harm others. We don't do anything unnecessary thing. And we can control, we can reserve our power, the mind power, in one channel, in the center, not in the scattering way. And so then that, I think that enough. And so when talk about the advantage, so there are two kinds of level. The first is a mundane or a worldly level. First of all, practice the mindfulness of breathing or mindful breathing. So you get a healthy mind. The healthy body. It can prevent from all kind of disease. Because we know that the breathing is mean breathing in Bali is prana, is a life force or life source. So then we can maintain our life by maintaining the right breathing, right? In the present, just to know how to breathe in the right way in every
It's like
moment.
right. It's like when we are born, nobody teaches us how to breathe, right? It's always with us, but nobody teaches us how to breathe. Like
Yeah.
our parents haven't teach us.
Yeah.
But then when we are
We just
enter
follow our intuitive awareness. Okay, we
intuitive,
have to
yes,
maintain the life. So then we
it's
have.
like an
But I
instinct.
ask,
We breathe for
how
instinct.
many people in this way know how to have the right breathing?
That's
Just
right.
breathing, but they don't. But they can use make the benefit of breathing in the good way. For example, in this time, there's a COVID pandemic. It's an airborne disease. But if we know that the disease is born or just spread by the air, so then we can use the air to correct, to protect it, to heal it. So then from airborne disease, we can transform by mindful breathing to be airborne peace. And then we can find peace inside with the air by
Right.
breathing. Is a life source here that. And apamanatham, so then like a heedfulness. Then it's a sense of responsibility for ourselves and social as well.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you say that the change that the mindful breathing practice has brought into your life is that it brought you to be more heedfulness and more sati, more mindfulness to your life,
Mm-hmm.
and to be responsible for our own life, not
Yes.
harming others, like
Yes.
that. Right?
And at the first level, the second level is spiritual advantage. Okay, so then we get a healthy body, so then we can come down, we can lead our life in the care way, in a good way, in the better way, in a more skillful way by breathing. And then after that, if we practice more and more in the advanced state, and so it leads to the enlightenment. Because in the sutta said anapanasati, if you practice more, so then you can gain a stipathan. If you practice more stipathan, so then you can get a full knowledge and vimutta or deliverance and up to the enlightenment state. So then we are two levels, mundane and super mundane. But for the beginner, for household life or for in daily life, just the mundane advantage or mundane benefit, I think is worthy enough to start to train yourself to learn how to breathe in the right way at
Right.
here
So
and now.
like seems like there are tremendous benefits just from learn how to breathe, right?
Of course,
From
yes,
learning
of
how to
course.
breathe we
Yes.
can find a lot of benefits in our life. So right now I will check the Facebook live because many people are having questions to ask both of
Oh.
our special guests today. And the first question from Myanmar followers, I think maybe Myanmar Buddhist monks, he asks that what is meditation in daily life and why mindfulness important for us? So this question I would like to ask Venerable Tenzin. Please share your answer with the audience who are listening to you right now.
So it's like what is the meditation, daily meditation, and why mindfulness is important, right?
Yes, in daily life.
So yeah, normally because we say the meditation, okay, actually the meditation is come from translation of Pali or Sanskrit bhavana. So it's not really the correct meaning is there. So the total meaning is not there. So also we can say meditation means another term. We can say mind training. So Buddhism itself is the mind training. We have to train our mind or change our mind from the negative side to the positive side. Or so that's why. So when we say daily meditation, so for each individual, they have many meditation, they're practicing daily for let's say for Vajrayana practitioner. Also for us, we have many kind of meditation there, but whatever we are doing, practicing meditation, the Pali, we can say Sati and Sambhajano, these two terms should be there always. Okay, let's say for Vajrayana, we're also practicing Bodhicitta or the tantric visualization meditation, but these two terms should be always there. The mindfulness and the Sambhajano or introspection should be there. So then why mindfulness is very important? So mindfulness, it means that we have to be aware what you are doing. So because in daily life, we are not really alive. We say I'm alive, but actually in the real sense, we are not really alive. So, okay, let's say I'm going outside, and then even I look somewhere, I can't see the whole thing clearly because of something is already, distract. Our mind is not mindful. Even all Tibetan, when you translate the Satipatthana or Sanskrit term like the Simrista Upasthana, in Tibetan we say Chamba Nyawar Shakpa. Nyawar means when we translate that into English term, the close placement of mindfulness. The close placement. So it means we have to come close to the object, because something is already distract or so many ignorance or whatever, ignorance or defilement is already there. So those, ignorance and defilement or destructive emotion distract or stop our mind from the seeing naked things. So then when you are more mindful, you can see the all alive, Normally we say I'm alive, but it's not really alive. So you can't see things alive. So for that reason, so mindfulness means to stop all those distractions, to stop all those, even we can't uproot or we can't eradicate the root of the defilement, ignorance. At least we can stop, those the grosser level of the thoughts or thinking. Stop, and we can see things clearly. Or if you are doing something, you can study more better. Or if you are learning, you can learn more better. If you are practicing, you can practice more better. Or if you want to see something, even you can see more clearly. If you're staying with your family, you can give more time. You can give more attention towards them. So for that reason, the mindfulness means be aware. So you have to bring your we talked before, the Maechi also mentioned before, bring your mind in the present moment. So when you're in the present moment, then you can see everything is more clear, everything is more alive. So whatever practice or whatever, even you're eating something, if you're really not mindful, then you're eating something, but you can't test
really
the real
eat it,
food.
right? Can't really feel
Yeah,
Not
you
really.
can. Yeah. So when you are mindful, if you're eating something, then you can feel the real taste, of the food. It's just a small example. Same thing, learning. So for that reason, that in the daily practice, the mindfulness is important, not just for the to enlighten. Even you are enjoying something. Okay, let's say for the normal life, in the maintaining life, you're enjoying something, you're drinking or eating something. But if you are mindful, all those food or whatever you're drinking or whatever you're reading or even you're watching something, it will become more alive for you. You can experience more, you can enjoy more. So then if
Right.
it's converted to the practice, then it's like a same thing. You can get more higher level. So that's why it's mindfulness. It's a very important, in our daily life.
Right. So like we can just bring the mindfulness in application to our daily life just to be present at what we are doing. For example, when we're
Yes.
eating, we just be there and acknowledge the taste. And when we're watching, just acknowledge what we see, something like that. Otherwise, we are not alive in the sense
Yeah.
of being alive, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yes. Thank you so much for your answer. And the second question will go to Maechi Benjawan. The second question is that thank you very much for speak. I would like to know how to apply mindfulness for kids.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Then we know that kids have a very short-term attentiveness, right? The mind is going, they're very naughty. First of all, you have to apply mindfulness to yourself as a parent, a teacher first, right? That it means you have just to calm down the mind, to settle the mind, to be in this kind of acceptance and understand the nature of the kids, the nature of your mind. Don't force, you have to do this, do that. We cannot just force the kid to sit cross leg and cross the eyes. And to apply mindfulness, because mindfulness or sati means not forgetful, remembering, attentive. Then the benefit of mindfulness in daily life is meant to help us not to create the forgetful habit. Nowadays, many people in modern life really have really a forgetful habit because we have many thoughts in a scattering thought in the mind. So then we have to train our kids to one thing at a time.
Oh,
To
I see. So
train, to
teaching
teach,
just
to
short
teach, to teach.
one thing at a time because they have
One
short
thing at a time.
attention.
If you lace
Right.
up or something else, now you know, you are aware that you are lacing up. When you put down, you know that you put it down. Or to about the movement, we can apply mindfulness in every movement. You know that you are lace up your right hand. It's a right hand, okay? And then you have intention. Do everything with intention, not just follow like the old habit, blindly automatically reaction. Do it with intention and the pleasant.
Right.
When you lift the hand, okay, what the left or right hand, and then you think of what the direction, whether you do next. You have to put it down or you have to trade it. Something like that is really easy. And when
Right.
eat one spoon by one spoon.
Mm.
One thing at a time, that is.
One thing at a time. So, as a parents or teacher, firstly, we apply mindfulness practice to ourselves, and then we know
True.
how to teach kids, but one thing at a
Yes.
time because they have short attention, right?
Yeah.
So, for
Yes.
example, let them know what they are doing, like raising their hand, eating
Mm-hmm.
one
Mm-hmm.
spoon by one spoon, like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for your answer. And there are more questions, but unfortunately, we are running out of time here. So I would like to conclude our interview for today for everyone and many people still listening. There are a lot of engagement right now, right? But uh, the time is running up, and so hopefully, if we have a chance, we would like maybe invite you again
You're
for
welcome.
special talk, right? So breathing is one of the few things that we do continuously, as Venerable and Meshi Benjawan said. We do it every day without thinking about it. And normally, people don't think about the breathing as we don't think about blinking our eyes or digest our food. They are not the things that we think we need to work on for some people. They just occur from autonomic nervous system. It happens automatically. And but the breathing is different because there are ways to breathe intentionally and mindfully. There are tremendous benefits from the practice of mindful breathing, and scientific studies have shown that the practice of mindful breathing can reduce stress levels in your body, lower the heart rate, and the blood pressure. And by focusing on the breathing, we can calm both our minds and body. Moreover, it can help to balance your emotion and provide an opportunity for deep focus and concentrate on the tasks in your daily life. So, practicing mindfulness breathing can bring improvements in both physical and psychological symptoms. And I really do believe that the whole talk for today can dedicate to a simple act of breathing for everyone to be applied in daily life. And today we have had an insightful conversation about the power of mindful breathing. One of our special guests today. So now I would like to express my sincere thanks to Venerable Tenzin Dorjee. It's a pleasure and an honor to have you here today. So thank you so much for joining so much. And Ajahn Dr. Maechi Benjawan Wongshookaew, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us. Thank you.
ธรรมะสวัสดีค่ะ
Yes. And thank you for watching and thank you for every comment and like. I'll see you again on Tuesday night at 7 p.m. What is going to be our next talk and who is going to be our next guest? Don't miss out the program. And if you like our Mindful Station program and you think the Facebook Live today is beneficial to you, please don't keep it to yourself. You can support our program by sharing this video to your friends and expressing your thought below in the comments. And make sure to follow us on the Facebook page so that you don't miss the interesting talk every week. Today, Dr. Nadnapang Phophichit together with the Mindfulness Station team have to take a leave for now. Thank you for watching and see you again next Tuesday. สวัสดีค่ะ
ครับ thank you
Thank you.